start with this news story. Let's practice that positivity. We're gonna get over here. This news story is about hardware sales. Hardware sales and physical game spending in the U.S. just had the worst November in 30 years. November being important because it's part of that quarter that has always been so very important to video games leading up to Christmas, and it ain't doing good.
Yeah, 1.6 million units of video game hardware were sold in the U.S. in November of 2025, which is the lowest since 1.5 million back in 1995. Hardware spending last month was 695 million, which is 27% less than last year, and the lowest on hardware spent since November of 2005. Usually one of the biggest months for video games because, Christmas shopping, as you said.
Yeah.
However, the average price paid for a new video game console this year was the highest all time, which is $439 on average, which is 11% higher than last year. PS5 was the best-selling console of that, followed by the Switch 2, and then the NEX. Playground in terms of units sold, Xbox in terms of dollars spent. Physical software fell 14%. It should be noted this does not count digital software, which is the majority of game sales last month. Call of Duty 7. Oh, sorry, what?
I said, yep.
Call of Duty Black Ops 7 was the best-selling game in November, making it the 7th best-selling game of 2025. However, Call of Duty suffered a double-digit percentage full game dollar sales decline compared to November of the previous year. Asked on Blue Sky how console manufacturers could possibly lower hardware prices given factors such as tariffs and increased component prices, Circana Sales senior director says they likely cannot and will not. And if we see sharp pricing upticks in pricing because of components, it would potentially be catastrophic for the dedicated gaming device market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I will say I am far less concerned about the software side of this.
Oh God, no.
I have almost no concerns about that. It tells me the very few consumers that still do buy physical, people who just think that they just have not moved on, or the most hardcore of consumers for whatever reason that really want to own physical. Those people are, did a down step, but otherwise, that makes sense. That was always going to decline. The hardware one, yeah, it's, I think it has less to do with the cost of the hardware, though that is a factor. Because, what was the best-selling one? The PlayStation. What was the one that had the biggest discounts and deals? It was the PlayStation.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, the Switch 2 was not discounted at all. The Switch 1 was not discounted at all. The Xbox was not discounted at all. You can still get a PlayStation on discount today.
Man.
You like, at least time of recording, which, depending on when you catch this, will either be later today or tomorrow in the case of the RSS feed. But yeah, you can still get a PlayStation for $100 off right now, or a PlayStation 5 Pro for $100 off. So you can get, if you're willing to go all digital, you can get a PlayStation for $400 right now.
Wow. All right.
It's the 825 gig and it's $400, but it's out there. So versus, if you want a terabyte and a disk drive, you're looking at $450. But that's still a lot cheaper than it normally is, and I think that shows here. I think that the problem that video games are going to encounter because of this, and I actually don't just mean consoles, I mean like PCs as well.
Yeah,
is the games themselves there are more of them. They go on sale more often. You can, there are deals constantly on all platforms, and there are so many games on all platforms that if you're willing to even just play older video games, like, you can find deals, especially, and if you're on console, the used market is alive and well. The problem is the buy-in. It's getting new people into the hobby.
Right.
It's like, and console prices are not that bad adjusted for inflation. right? But a lot of people don't think that way, right? Like that's a lot of people think, oh, a console should be $300, $400, not 500, 600. Even though if you adjust for inflation, most consoles historically have been $500 to $600 in today's money.
Right.
Minus Nintendo, they're we're oddball. Like the 360 in today's money is $500.
Yeah.
You know, the PS2 in today's money $550. The PS1 in today's money $622 at launch. I think the other factor is this hardware has never got a price cut. It's in fact they've only gotten price increases.
Yeah.
You know, the Xbox went up in price twice, the PlayStation went up in price once. And I think there's just the bottom segment of the market that usually would normally get in later that hasn't gotten in yet either. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This is not shocking, honestly. We're shifting to more and more digital, and then hardware. PlayStation 5, the only one that had any sort of discount. It just, I don't know. This is not shocking in any way.
Yeah. I think that it, and I also think that like it has less to do with this than the world around it. You know, I think that everything else, you know, video games in general have not gone up that much in price relative to other things. In fact, adjusting for inflation, they're pretty flat. In some cases, they're down, but everything else got more expensive.
Right.
You know, everything else got way more expensive. And then, you know, if you're just looking to have a good time, like the next playground is $200, right? Or $250. You know, so if you're just looking to have a fun time, a family with something that's a video game like, you know, like, yeah, it's an easier sell. You know, if you have like a kid who's like, I really want to play God of War Ragnarok. I'm like, first off, monitor your kids because that's an animated game. But second off is like, yeah, then you're looking at a minimum spend of, you know, $400. And in a world where your fucking groceries, you know, went up, at least in my case, over the past 3 years by like $75 every 2 weeks, that can be a hard sell, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I remember when I was in college and shortly after college, and I was super broke, spending an extra $100 for a system would fuck my budget for like the month. So, you know, and like, yeah, now I'm a working adult and like well into working, so it's like that's not as much of an issue. But, you know, if you're a kid, you're a teen, you're in a low income family, yeah, the buy-in is just harder than ever.
Yep.
It's
only gonna get worse.
Like, yeah, and then, you know, I think there's also been a shift to PC as well. That's part of it. A lot of people are going to PC because of one, they're just games that you can only get on PC. Like, we're not going to play, you know, we were talking about Fellowship before the show. That's not going to come to console.
Right.
You know, League of Legends, that ain't coming to console. And depending on what you're playing, you can make a PC last longer than a console. You know, and most people are not sickos like us.
Right.
And they'll play the same game forever. So that, you know, when they go buy a gaming laptop is $1,000, like for like a decent starting point.
Yep.
But, you know, your $1,000 gaming laptop is going to play most games fine for the length of a console. You know, like, so it's like, and that can be used for school and whatnot. Like, and it's just like, well, you know, I can spend $500 more and get my kids set up with something they can use for school and possibly for college or work. And, you know, it will play games pretty well depending on what they're playing. Like, yeah, you're not going to be playing, you know, Indiana Jones maxed out ray tracing at 4K on your $1,000 laptop.
No.
But can you play Indiana Jones at like medium to low and still have it look good on your $1,000 laptop? Yeah, probably.
Probably.
And I think that that's another thing. And then I think that just um optimization will, because of the shortages in computer parts as well,
Yep.
and the fact that I think it'd be really stupid to launch a console generation in 2 years, which is like I think that I think that's what everyone's going to try and do. I think Xbox especially is going to try and do that in 2027. They're planning to have November of 2027. They're going to try and have a new box. I think that would be so supremely stupid if the economy is what it is right now. I think it would be the dumbest thing you could imagine.
We didn't include the story, I don't think. But did I correctly see a news article saying Nvidia's not going to be not making gaming GPUs soon?
So they're going to be making gaming GPUs, but they're halving their yields.
Okay.
So they're cutting the amount of gaming GPUs they're making in half to go focus on AI GPUs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's going to be a factor as well. I think.
yeah.
This is just going to be. It's going to be tough. It's only going to get more tough, and I think pursuing new hardware, and trying to like continue on as if things are normal is going to be a problem.
I think it would be one of the dumbest things they could do. I know that the PS3 360 generation got extended by about 2-3 years because of the recession that happened back then. They need to do it again. This needs to be a true 10-11 year life cycle. I think 2030. I think you just need to hang it out till 2030.
It's funny because I feel like the amount of gains have been less and less since, in the last few console generations. It's like, some people up to this point have had the money to purchase a brand new console despite, so little progress in the hardware department. But literally it's because people have had the money. And I just think going into this, between hardware issues and money issues outside of games, like this is going to be a hard sell for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that, like, and I have a PS5 Pro in the office, dude, and like, does it look better than a regular PS5? Yeah, like it's one of those things where I do, and it does, but is it like better enough to justify $700? Really, only in Sony first party games, which so far there's been 3 since the release of the thing.
Yep.
And next year they're planning, there's like at least 2 set up for it, and it's like, yeah, that's nice, and that's nice, but if they're already charging $700 for this, I can't imagine the jump you could get for even that price in 2 years.
Right.
So I'm not seeing where this is going to go, and then God knows what the fuck it would have to be priced at, and it's like, guys, let's just hang here for a while. It's okay.
It is okay.
Like, games look great. Okay, mm-hmm. Like, legitimately, like regular PS5 games look great and run fine. Yeah. Stop it.
Yeah.
Same thing with like the Switch 2. Like, the Switch 2, look, graphics powerhouse is gonna run your Unreal 5 games perfectly. No. But can it make games look good? Yeah, I was playing that Final Fantasy VII remake demo. It looks amazing.
Right.
Looks great on Switch. Looks fantastic. Donkey Kong looks and plays great. So, so does Metroid Prime. Like, let's stop.
Like, if you were like had an opportunistic mind looking at this, like, this is extending this is a good time to figure out a better development cycle so that you're not having to spend 8 years and getting hundreds of people together to make a gigantic game. Let's figure something out. Let's figure something more sustainable and easy to do.
Yeah, like, I beat Ghost of Tsushima recently, and that's a game that's about 40 hours long if you do a lot of the side content, enjoy the main line like I did. And I like felt that, I feel games, if you want to talk about making games themselves better for most people, it's like, all right, dude, just make them a little shorter, make them a little cheaper. Like that's another option. This new James Bond game is $70 goddamn dollars, and am I gonna buy it because it's IO Interactive making a James Bond game? There couldn't be a better combination of things in this world. Yes,
right.
But like if this game is 30 hours long, I'm gonna go mental. There's no reason there needs to be a fucking 30-hour James Bond game. Stop it, please. So and like you have games like Expedition 33, Game of the Year winner, one of the best games you could be playing, and it's it's 40, it's $50, $40 on sale. Like, do we need a game to look better than Expedition 33?
Right.
Is that what you're telling me? We need a game to be bigger and look better than that? Is that the conversation? Like Ghost of Yote, I took hundreds of screenshots through my playthrough. It's an amazing looking game. Are you telling me we need something that looks better than that? No, shut up. Stop.
And like, I understand that there are some franchises that are just big enough that like, yeah, you do want to push it all the way, but that like there are a lot of people who are trying to punch at that level that don't need to be at that level and can make just as much profit.
Yes, like look, if you're Rockstar, great, do that. Yeah. Great, push it all the way, dog. Go all the way because your game is going to sell 40 million copies.
Yeah.
If you're CD Projekt Red, same thing. Your game is going to sell 40 million copies. Go nuts. If you're fucking who's the other one I was on thinking of? If you're Final Fantasy, Square Enix, yes, because you trapped yourself. That's kind of what you're known for. You're stuck. Right. Just enjoy your suicide pact. Have fun. But for most people, no. Not really. Like you don't need to. Like I've been playing Digimon Story Time Strange, and I'm really enjoying that game. It's a fantastic game. It's a solid JRPG. It's a lot of fun to mess around with all these great Digimon. I got my Metal Greymon last night. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that like that game, it looks good. It's a good looking video game. But it's not like pushing technical boundaries, and they'd have to enslave an army of artists to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the higher end games.
Yeah.
And I think that's like guys, Battlefield 6, probably one of the biggest dev teams ever. The game is not. It looks great, but it's not like a cutting edge game graphically, and that's fine.
Yeah,
200,000 people a month on Steam are playing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. It's okay. We did it. Games look great.
Yeah, there's some conversation. We'll be probably getting into it later today with these news stories. But just like we don't need to keep pushing hard. It is clearly causing problems, not just for costs for consoles and like larger buy-in. But like, development issues. We've been running into development issues for years now, and we're reaching a breaking point in terms of time and money being put into these things.
Well, like you want to know a studio that has not had problems doing any of this shit? The Yakuza studio. They put out a game almost every year. I think the only year they skipped is 2022, and it's because like, dude, they figured out their engine. And they figured out how to use assets in a smart way, and they're just making the games in a smart fashion. They're doing a good job with it. Like that's all. They figured it out. They're like, it needs to look good. It doesn't need to look like the most amazing thing my eyes have ever beheld and bring me to tears when I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, or like the Persona team. Like, how many goddamn games does Atlas put out, right?
Sure.
Like they put out a game almost every year. Like all the games look great. They're anime styled, makes it a little easier.
But that's fun. People like that.
They do. Like that's fine. It's okay.
One of the most profitable games in the world right now is Fortnite. Look at that.
Yes, exactly. Like Helldivers. Helldivers is not like this amazing technical showpiece. It will run on a Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
Run 2060. You do not need this shit. Stop it.
It's about making a good game.
And I know that people are gonna say, "Oh, but it's easy." I'm like, you want to know what's a really good marketing tool for a video game? Word of mouth that it's a fun video game.
Yep.
It's a effective tool. it's why Expedition 33 blew up. It was an excellent video game, and everyone talked about it. You know, like, yes. All right. Well, what's the next news story?
All right, let's go ahead and let's move on from that story. We got a little more to talk about in terms of the health of the games industry at this moment, which we're going to talk about 2020.